Hello.
Hello.
Hello, ladies, and welcome to this unusual version of Spotlight Romania Film Festival, the first online version. Perhaps not the last, though. We'll have to see. For the sake of archiving, I'm going to start by saying that it's, March 2021. We're still in a world pandemic. We're still in a partial lockdown in the Netherlands, and we still have a night curfew time. We have to be inside at 9 p.m. And the whole cultural sector has been down for a long time. It's a drama, which is why we also decided to catch up with each other in this version, the version of a Zoom meeting. I'm going to go first to Bianca, because Bianca was the co-founder, co-initiator of this project back in 2014. We met in the Netherlands. Yes, we had a coffee, which I will never forget. It was one of those meetings where things were falling together very well. And then we thought of, okay, let's give it a try. And I'm curious if you have the same, the same memory as I do, which is that we absolutely thought it would be a one-time thing.
I think the first time you organize such an event, once it happens, you feel like you climbed a whole mountain. It's like making something out of nothing, which is very rewarding. And I think at first you don't think, oh, how about I start a 10-year festival here? So it's just not like that. I think the humbleness that comes with doing it the first time, it also makes you very bold.
And in retrospect, I have to say, I think it was bolder than I realized at the time.
It was a lot of fear that it might not happen. Getting an income out of it seemed like a luxury that you could not afford at the first edition. So
absolutely. Well, it sort of stayed like that. Getting the income out of it was actually not happening. But yeah, that's a complicated conversation. And now in the pandemic time, this conversation has blown to completely different proportions, of course. We'll have to see how things will evolve. But speaking about the pandemic, I was thinking that you, Bianca, from us, you seem to have taken the most radical decision of how to spend your pandemic time.
Well, I guess there's some advantage to being able to do your work online. So we stayed at home and it was fine for a while. And then there was summer, and then summer passed. And just by accident, so it happened that a friend of my partner asked him to go together to cycle in Sicily. So they did. And eventually I did a weekend there myself just to see them. And then my partner came back home and said, well, since we're working with our laptops, why can't we work with our laptops from there where there's sun and sea? So we tried 5 weeks. Actually, the plan was to be there for 5 weeks and see how it works. And 5 weeks became 5 months because we kept like we went in and out of lockdown there, and eventually it became difficult to reach the airport. But let's be honest about this one. we did,
You
we
never
didn't work
planned.
hard there. And eventually it turned out that work was just fine. So there is an opportunity in this situation, and that is, I guess, more flexibility and being able to be more creative with how you spend your time, spend your life. I don't know.
So I'm now taking the opportunity to move the conversation towards Andrea. We're kind of going in the order in which we came in the project. Andrea joined us, I think, in 2017. I think it was the most niche edition we had, because it was the edition where we had a partnership with Bucharest International Experimental Film Festival. And that brought us a super nice content, but of course that content is not by definition the type of content that also brings you a lot of audience. So there was a bit of a struggle. How do you remember that time from ages ago?
From ages, yeah. Well, I did, yeah. I think indeed the official invitation to join in any kind of organizational role, it did came later on, but I knew about the festival before. And yeah, I remember it as being pretty intense work. Lots of things happening when in a way that you would not expect that would happen, but in kind of miraculously way they all happened. And it was indeed yeah, pretty much a niche festival, to say. But yeah, I enjoy doing it a lot. And I think I was a lot busy with the exhibition.
Andrea, how was your 2021? Sorry, how was your 2020 and how is your 2021 so far?
Well, it wasn't as adventurous as Bianca's, definitely. Mine was very quiet, a lot of time spending at home, a lot of time being at home with my daughter since the kindergartens were closed. So I counted, it was almost like half a year spent like this, which is also has its good times, because my daughter has had spent lots of time with her, which otherwise I wouldn't have done. So in this sense, it's really a win. And I also spent some time working on film projects, and actually also like I also do commercial projects, and I saw a very interesting trend that first all commercial projects fell down, like nothing happened for a while, and afterwards lots of requests came in because of the pandemic. So it was also with ups and downs. I really learned a lot about dealing with the unexpected, and just every day I wake up and I have a plan, but I know any moment my plan can change. So that's what I learned. It's really like every day is a surprise.
Has that applied also to your film, the film you're working on?
Well, in a way, yeah. Well, it had quite a big impact, because my film is about I'm making this film about this pilgrimage. It's a long project. Well, a project that was born in my mind or in my heart for a long time. And it's an event where like 250,000 people come. And during the pandemic, now I was editing, and I realized actually I need more footage, well, for the film I want to make. And I don't know if I will ever be able to make this to shoot this in the near future.
To give more information, because we know a little bit about it, but to give more information to people who might be watching us. So you've been working on a documentary, and it's called In Line for a Miracle. It's a documentary about the pilgrimage that happens every year in Romania, a huge event, it has to be said, a huge event in Romania. People from all over the country go there to queue for days in order to enter the church and touch what is believed to be the remainings of Saint Parascheva. And you went there to film in
before the pandemic.
Yes.
Yes.
We actually have some footage from the shooting, and we're gonna show it here.
Haideți, poftiți! Florile și busuiocul le puteți lăsa aici, primim de la ieșire. Și busuioc, și iconiță, și vată.
It's really about being together, and it's really about connecting to someone that you have just met in a way that it's almost like unthinkable. It's really unthinkable now during the pandemic. So it is really about the power of masses and the power of being with someone and spending, like having a deep connection in a matter of few hours. It is about intimacy with strangers in the end. So it is, of course, it is a religious experience, but for me, it is really more about finding connection and with another one, with other
and
people.
from the perspective from the reality that we live in right now, this is indeed super special. It's super interesting. I'm so looking forward to see the film.
Me too.
When do you think we'll be able to see it, or when do you think it's going to be out?
Well, I hope this year, in a way or another, it will be either short, or I will see, depending on the way this pandemic will evolve, that I will see if there is any possibility to film in the foreseeable future, to film more in, at an event that would be similar to this. So,
And perhaps we can go back a little bit later. I'm really curious how all three of you, from your different perspectives, imagine the future with film festivals. But before we do that, I also want to give the stage to Miss Simona, who, like we mentioned, she also came in the project in 2017 also, but then in a sort of a different formula. You joined us from Bucharest back then. I had asked a friend of mine, Daniel Mitulescu, who is organizing the film festival for children in Bucharest, Odisea.
Yeah.
He could give us a film program for the Romanian kids here. And then he put me in contact with you, and that was a bam, you came and you didn't leave. You came and you
I came closer and closer, let's say.
And in fact, with you, it was the other way around. The pandemic came.
Yeah, I don't know. It was a big change of plans in general, but what is relevant, I guess, is that in March, I came back to my home city and I somehow decided to just stay there. It's Călăraș in Romania. It's a small city at the border with Bulgaria, and that's where I spent the whole spring, and I think also part of the summer, basically writing applications and doing yoga, and occasionally going to feed the pigs at the farm. It was
Sounds lovely. I mean, except writing funding applications. I think
I had
lovely.
excitement in spring, but then I don't know, it got so crazy.
What is the rate of success in writing funding applications these days?
I don't know. I mean, I wrote 2 in spring, and one of them I didn't get the money, luckily, because we were very close and we could have appealed and we could have taken the money, but we didn't do that because if the project went on, it would have been a real nightmare to do it.
Right.
It involved schools, lots of kids, teachers, people, artists coming together, staying next to each other for 2-3 weeks or something like that.
Sounds intense.
Yeah, no, it's for another non-pandemic year. And then the other application was for the project that we actually made in spring and autumn, and in Romanian it's called Crescut pe Muzică. In English we translated it as Brought Up on Music.
Și așa mai departe.
Deci prima dată vine așa, nu?
Vrei să vorbești
Da, da,
tu?
da, da.
Așa, da?
Da. Deci cam așa.
Da,
Deci
da.
pe fragmente, nu? Și rai.
Da, da.
Am înțeles.
The scheme is quite simple. We had 20 grandchildren and or kids of traditional music players, and with them we made some workshops on Zoom. They learned about journalism and film and how to write and how to take photographs, and basically they documented the life of their local musicians, be they their parents or grandparents. And in the end, we put all those things on a website. The surprise of the whole project was that the kids were very talented themselves. I mean, they were all playing also. So they became a very important part of the project. And yeah, it kind of moved from the spotlight, the focus moved from the grandparents to the grandparents and the kids.
I was wondering if what is your take on the idea of, okay, you're making films, the two of you, Andreea and Simona. Bianca writes about films. And I was wondering, how have you been, what's your take on what's going to happen to films? Andreea, would you put your film, assuming your film would be finished, would you put it online right now in a festival? Or would you rather wait for it to?
Well, I think as a filmmaker, you would really want to have the experience of the festival, like just real experience of the festival and not online festival.
So I think it's important to say that I write about documentary films, and I only think of documentary films with what I'm going to say. And that is that I think a problem for documentary films is that they would go to festivals, eventually make the whole round of the festivals, and then end up somewhere that nobody sees them anymore. So I think a problem with that is, since forever, the fact that they die after the festivals. Now, for the first time, there is an opportunity in finding a way to give them a longer life. So indeed, we don't have the rooms full of people and we can't do that. But what I got from other festival makers is that they try to look at hybrid options. They try to see how can they be prepared for the unpredictable. And by that means that you have to involve the online, you have to find a way that these films are there.
I agree. And I'm wondering how this would be possible for small festivals like ours, because having platforms, online platforms for supporting content to be seen also entails having different financial possibilities.
But then maybe Spotlight Romania being such a small community festival, maybe we can team up with someone else who does this. I mean, we started before the pandemic started, we started with a sort of association of small film festivals. And because we believe super much in collaboration, and I think now that is even more important because the sector is so divided and we are all under-resourced kind of. So yeah, I wish that we would learn that from the pandemics, how to support each other and be together, because we're all in a complicated time. I said this looking at the poster, but yeah. Yeah, but
I'm sharing the screen with a poster of Spotlight Romania 2019, so the last physical edition that we had. This is my favorite poster. It says, well, the title, but it has here this heart with mother, which makes me think of Romania, mother. But and by the way, we were very happy last year Patricia, who is our colleague here at Spotlight also, and she's also been involved in the festival pretty much from 2017, I think. She designed this poster together with we had a series of posters for this edition with different elements on the idea of what film and identity means to us. And we were contacted by the archive of the city of The Hague. Somebody working on the digital archive has invited us to asked us to allow them to include these posters in the digital archive of the city of The Hague as really cute, nice, beautiful examples of cultural project posters. So we've made some small history in the city of The Hague. Thank you so much.
Somehow I'd like to go back to your question, because you were asking like if everything is over, whereas we're just starting it.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I would like to ask you, what would you like to get out of this year's edition?
I mean, for me, honestly, the most important thing of this version of Spotlight is literally to be in touch with people who have been in the project, working in the project, or guests of the festival, which of course I could also do, on one-on-ones, personal things. But I feel that what we actually all most miss is this togetherness. And since it can't be physical, this seems to be the best version we can think of. What we're going to do next is we have a series of interviews for this edition with other women who have been guests of the festival, filmmakers and actresses who have been guests of our festival. So from here, we're going to go to an interview we were doing with Ioana Flora, who was actually the first guest that the festival had, and that was in 2016. Oh. That's so sweet. Somebody is slowly coming in. Oh, hi, Eva. So yeah, we're going to move to this interview, and that's it for now. Thank you. See you.
Thank you.
We continue our conversation today in our talk show with Ioana Flora. Ioana Flora is a very known Romanian actress, and she was in fact the first guest we had at Spotlight Romania Film Festival. Welcome, Ioana. It's so nice to see you again. We just had a conversation with my colleagues at Spotlight Romania, trying to remember a little bit how we started the project and how it was going. And so I was wondering, what is your memory of being in The Hague with us in 2016?
My God, so many nice memories, actually. Yeah, it was really good joining you guys. And you have we're doing and still doing, and I'm sure you will do in the future a great thing with the festival.
Thank you. That's so nice to hear. I have to admit that we need some encouragement these days, because obviously for us, like for everyone else, and I'm just going to refer to the cultural sector, it's been quite a challenge.
Yes, I really think we all need encouragement in this and try to figure out how to continue.
Solidarity, solidarity, solidarity.
Yeah.
I know, Ioana, that you have been, you've always been working a lot. You've been always involved in a lot of projects, in a lot of films. But I know that in the 2020 pandemic, you made a very special project. And I know that you worked on it as a concept creator and lead actress and script writer. The project is called Fragile. And before going more into it, perhaps it's a good idea to start by showing our audience the trailer of the project. it looks so touching, and it looks like you are playing several very, very different characters. Please tell us more about this project and how you got to the idea of making it.
That's where Ruxandra enters the stage, because she connected us with, first we got Ioana into this project, who's a director, and we got all together, three of us, we got a grant from the United States from the Embassy of the United States, a small grant, but it was a very good startup. And then each of us had her own part, and Ruxandra was the one who connected us with NGOs, that those NGOs gave us those stories, and women presented to us those women, and that's how we met them.
And by being put together, you as creators and the NGOs who have connections to women in problematic situations, that's how the idea actually developed into becoming a creative documentary series, which is sort of developing into a campaign, or is it more of an artistic project? Where would you place it?
It has both sides, actually. It's an artistic one. It's a documentary judging by the fact that we didn't change a word. I mean, we respected till the last full stop what those women said. We didn't want to change something just for the sake of being more dramatic or more like, but we kept it as they told us the story. But from the very beginning, the idea was of saying a monologue, max 10 minutes long, 7 to 10 minutes, and filming it like it would be that person speaking. So it was supposed from the very beginning, it had this shape of having 10 episodes made out of 10 minutes each, which could be put together and watch it together or separately, because they're separate. So you have episode 1, 2, 3, 4 till 10.
But they have a sort of a call for action attached to it.
Yes, of course, nothing is going on without a call for action, because that platform that we've built, and it started a couple of days ago, and it's like fragile.live. And on that platform, we have the stories, we have the backgrounds, we have the synopsis, short synopsis of each story. And we have about the team, about the project, we have get help, offer support. What we want to do throughout this platform is actually to create a community, and those women to feel that they are safe, they can ask for help, they can get help, and NGOs are also listed there. So whatever problem you have, we can help you.
There's a space that can support you.
Yes.
And I think that in this pandemic time, I mean, it's an extraordinary project, and it's probably all the more needed in this time when we know for a fact that women are in more vulnerable situations, even more vulnerable situations.
Yes, everything becomes even stronger. What was before existing already, it becomes even stronger as an effect due to the pandemics, unfortunately.
I think it is a wonderful and really necessary project, and
Thanks.
I'm happy to see that you
found. We were not alone in this thing. What was an amazing thing about the project that we gathered such a wonderful team around it, because it needed, besides the grant from the United States Embassy of the United States, we really needed a lot of people to create the platform, a lot of people to promote it. And so we have a wonderful PR team, SmartPoint, who brought all the energy in this, and they were like pro bono, and the platform itself, it looks amazing, really, and made by super specialists. eJump and Gamify made the platform, created the platform, and they are really great guys. Yeah, so we had a lot of friends. Renting the studio was like, and Adi Bulboacă we had as he offered us his studio with his cameras, and he even made some studio photo making of photos. And then we had a wonderful photograph that made some studio photos, Ionuț Macri. So a lot of wonderful. I just realized how many friends I have.
But also how many people actually care for this cause? Because I mean, there are many projects that come out there and they're promoted or supported by people who have indeed, like you say, a platform in the public space.
Yes.
But not, I mean, certainly not all of them get real support from professionals in their respective fields. So I think that shows that everybody realizes the importance of this project.
Yes, they liked it, and of course they were like very close friends. We worked together before, but they really liked the cause.
And so the project will be has been present in the social media with the teaser and some information, but it's actually kicking off as of this week. As we speak, and people can just go on your Facebook page, on the Facebook page of the
Facebook page, Fragile the Series on Facebook, and Fragile the Project on Instagram.
Right. So we can say that people who are in need or people who know somebody in need, go check it out, share the link, and
Yes. Just spread the word.
Spread the word. Were you also working on other projects for film, or I know you're also very involved in theater in Romania?
Oh my God, Corina, this is such a hard question. I mean, theater is going down the drain. If I can use this like as a word, because the problem is that theater is like a must. It has to be live. I mean, I've had a project like Neverland that was like online, showing it online, or I had a project that we did on a Zoom. We made a performance and we were all like playing in a Zoom with each other. It was fitting the story, but it's not the same. I mean, it's like, okay, guys, just be silent. I'm having a performance now, please. It's like pretending that you're still keeping the same conventions, but it's not. And the main thing that you're missing is actually being in front of a public, in front of an audience, because that's the specifics of theater. And you cannot do it without audience, real lifetime audience. As for the film projects, I've had 2 premieres that were like premiered in Sarajevo, and we were supposed to be.
Yeah, Sarajevo also went online, I believe, last minute.
Yes, there was also, we're expecting another premiere directed by Lebensdorf, directed by Vali Hotea. It's his second feature, if I'm not wrong, or third. Produced by Ada Solomon and Mimi Brănescu, Ana Kovalciuc, me, Victoria Kociaș, and a couple of other wonderful actors. So we are just looking forward to see when and how it will happen, the premiere. And yes, so more than this, it's just that you have to express yourself in a way or another. And this online thing, it has to kind of reinvent yourself. You have to reinvent yourself. And I think this Fragile project is a way of reinventing in a way or another what I was trying, because at the beginning of pandemics, I was realizing, and I was desperate. Everybody is showing something on, I know to play guitar. I know this and this and this. And I was like, oh my God, I'm late. Everybody's doing something. I'm not doing anything. Then I said, okay, just calm down. You don't have to be the first. You don't have to be like, you just figure out what you want to say, and from your bottom of your heart, and then start growing it, but it was such a...
Ioana, thank you so much for joining us today and sharing, first of all, sharing the project with us. We're happy to find ways to support it as well, so let us know.
Yes, thank you very much.
And what can I say? Of course, we hope to see you back in The Hague at some point.
Okay, I'll start planning it.
Start planning it.
Okay. Yes.
And sooner than later.
Everything will be fine. Everything will be great. It already is. Peace.
Thank you, Ioana.
Thanks, Corina. It was nice meeting you. Welcome back, and we're here with Vera, Surățel, and with Teona, Galgoțiu. Vera, you had your movie at Spotlight in 2017, and it was an animation for children. It was actually part of a
set of films I selected from Kinodisea. And then you came to The Hague in 2018. And Teona, you had your film in the festival in 2019, and it was called My Mother is Only One. Am I right? And I know that you, Vera, you left us for Moldavia. What's up with that? You left us for Moldavia, right? You're not in Bucharest anymore.
I came back to my native place of birth, or how should I say this?
Yeah. But where exactly?
Well,
Chișinău or where?
Yeah, Chișinău.
And how is it to be there? Since when are you there?
Almost a year.
Okay.
The whole pandemic, I spent it here.
And your film, it was released also during the pandemics, right?
In a way, yes. In January, it had its premiere. Yes, I can call it a premiere.
Okay, so we're talking about a short film, and it's called in English The Unsure One, right?
The Uncertain One.
The Uncertain One. Okay. We're gonna watch now an excerpt from the film with the part where they play music in the bus, and I think that we're gonna continue talking about it afterwards.
Hai mergi mere pijorule.
Hai că până acolo mergi.
Băi, când te aud.
Când mă aud.
Este normal.
Da unde mergem?
Tot înainte, Raia, tot înainte.
Hai, dă-i mai repede.
Chiar vrei să sărăroată, hă? Ai bani să o plătești, că eu n-am. Raia, tu ai?
Turșănski, hai schimbă muzica asta, că Ivan nu vrea să o schimbi.
Și?
Nita,
I wanted to ask you because I know that you made a lot of animation films, and then this film also starts with an animated. Where do you find yourself most comfortable, in the live action section or in the animation section, or do you plan to like combine them all the time?
I think I like to combine them. I don't think I resonate only with the fiction or live action or with the animation only. I think I like to combine them. Yes, I have no reason more than that. That I simply like to do that. But I think it suits the way I see sometimes some ideas. It really fits the mold of animation, and sometimes it fits the mold for live action, and I like how they can complete one another.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it's true, I use or I think that animation can help me, underline a specific point or a nuance or something, but in a way I think I choose them both because they complete one another, for me at least, my vision, if I can say so. I think this is the first project that proved to me one theory. I'm explaining my theory. So I think from a specific point, from when you start to write that script, you start producing it or making it or working on it, and from a specific point, you just have to feel it. The film is his own personality, is its own personality, and the film makes the choices. You just have to listen to it and like, okay, what do you want now? Okay, you want that, let's do that. In a way, at least this film, I think I managed to finish it. It's so different from what I wanted, totally different, but in a way I feel like that's how this film wanted to look like. In this case, I think this project was a big lesson for me in terms of my attitude towards the creative process.
Sounds really nice. I mean,
but
it's
the pandemic thing,
like a very complex process that you went through. For you, how was it, Teona, to be her assistant in this, I don't know, free-flowing inspiration creative process?
Well, when Vera invited me to be her assistant, at first, I mean, I was obviously very happy because I loved the films I saw from her. But at the same time, I didn't know for sure if I'm like the right person, because I think a directing assistant should be very organized, of course, and should have this really specific asset of nagging every department and going at everyone and saying, hey, we're beyond schedule, blah, blah, blah. But I really liked working with this team. And I think I was more organized than I'm in general, I hope. And I remember, for example, that Vera was asking me to call her at, I think, 5 in the morning to make sure that she's awake. And for me, it was a surprise that I didn't need to ask another person to make sure that I'm awake at 5 in the morning. So yeah, I think I was very concentrated to be helpful to Vera, even though yeah, I'm not so organized in general.
So it was the first time you worked together for this film?
Yes.
Yeah, Vera actually worked with my mom at the previous film. So my mom was talking a lot about Vera, and she was very, very excited about the film they worked together on. And yeah, so it felt like we collaborated actually before through my mom.
Cool. And talking about your mom, what are you filming lately? Because I know you also filmed something with your mother, apart from the film that we had at Spotlight 2 years ago, a new one, right?
Yeah. So at school, at the first year of the master's, I'm still studying. We had to make the first film in spring. The spring we all experienced the first lockdown, and so I couldn't do that anymore, and I filmed it in December. And yeah, it was a script I wrote like in, I don't know, 1 month, and then I had a lot of second thoughts if I should make it or not, because I didn't feel so comfortable with gathering so many people and putting them at risk. And yeah, we filmed it, and it was very safe because it was like only with 2 characters or 1 character. And yeah, but it was still quite stressful, and the second thoughts kept coming anyway.
And now you have to film again in May, right? For
yeah, at the end of May, I have to make the second master film. And yeah, I didn't even finish editing the first one, and I have to make the second one. So I'm a bit overwhelmed, but our teachers tell us that it's actually good that we can get used to how it works in real life, and that in real life you don't have all this time to think. And yeah, maybe that's right, but I don't know, it's still a bit too much.
But keep in mind, you're gonna have 2 short films.
I hope so.
That's the win of it.
What?
That's the win of it. That's
yes.
You go to a hard time, but then you have 2 shorts.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think it's very complicated because okay, now you finish a film and you don't go to the regular festival circuits and travel with the film and show it to audiences, I don't know, all around the world, but you in the happiest scenario you put it online, or you have it some festivals showing it online. How do you feel about this? I mean, both of it, because Vera, you had your film at a festival that was online, and I guess next you're also gonna find another opportunities like that. And Teona, you're gonna finish 2 films and you have to somehow release them into the wild. But how do you feel about what festivals are doing now, and what would you wish would be different?
You're just happy when you finish a film and you can get it out in the world. And it's much better than just keeping it at home forever. So yeah, even though it's very frustrating, it's still so much better than nothing. And for example, I was so happy when this festival called the Flaherty contact me for a short I did in 2018-17, short conversation about the D word, and they said they wanted it in their festival that's usually held in New York. And I was like, oh my God, my film is gonna be shown in New York. I was so excited. And then they said, yeah, of course it's gonna be online. And then I was like, okay, it's like a virtual New York. I'm still very happy, but yeah, it's weird. It seems like it's not really happening.
10-year-old me that thought in that early age that there's something with cinema that's close and familiar to my way of seeing and expressing my ideas, and seeing my film on this screen, that it's not what I signed for.
Well, I'm super happy that we met even like this, and I hope that we're gonna be able to meet in The Hague next year or maybe this year, or I don't know, we'll see. And to finish, I would like to pass it on to you, Teona, to tell us a bit about the book that you released last year, in the last months of the last year. And you have a poem from there that you want to read us, and it's in English. So thank you very much, and I would let you, Teona, with the poem.
Thank you. It was co-translated with a friend of mine, Eva Todico, who is also a filmmaker. So thank you, Eva. It's called Ode to Self. The certitude that the shards of mirror rose to the surface of the loose earth woke me up from my sleep, and I sighed. I felt the smell of pesto and salmon that's gone bad. It suddenly got cold and my bed shrunk. I'm sorry, and it's a pity. The genius child, now an adult loser. My marbles of talent all spilled and spread out. Mother praises me even now when I have a liver crisis. Father sends me heart emojis with a wonderful contour. I caress my head looking at the heart, and then I put my head in the washer. Then I get it out all sparkling and amazed. It apparently forgot everything, but nothing to be scared of. The warm light uncovers the loose earth.
So we're continuing our conversation today with Sarra Tsorakidis and Maria Popistasu, whose films, Ivy, respectively the Seagull short films, were in our program in the 2019 edition, the last physical edition of the festival. And actually, Maria, you were the last guest to leave the last physical edition. So I was just thinking that we need to make you promise that you're going to be here when we reopen in location, probably next year.
Without any movie.
Well, from the looks of it, with quite a lot of movies, actually. It appears that you've been working quite a lot.
Not a lot, but probably I've worked more than others and more than me in other years. That's for sure.
Yeah, I was counting that. I mean, in terms of shooting, I know you were involved in the short film of Sarra in Caimos, but you also had a rather extreme shooting experience, right? With the film of Radu Muntean and Regalde, you were shooting for 6-7 weeks.
Almost 7 weeks, yes.
Remote somewhere in Romania, pretty much on the top of a hill. Not seeing your family, not having contact with other people.
Yeah.
Can you tell us more about that?
Right before the lockdown struck Romania, we finished shooting the short of Sarra. I believe we finished shooting like the day before.
Something like that, yes.
Something like that. And it was a very nice couple of days that we spent together, and then everybody was confined, so it was rather strange and unexpected for everybody. I had another film that came out that year and that went to Varsovia, and I believe they had some kind of a physical
You
festival, but I didn't go. No, but it was
refer to Bogdan Teodor Olteanu,
Bogdan Teodor
Romania
Olteanu,
misses her revenge,
which was shot the previous year and had the premiere in autumn, but a strange half empty cinema with people being a bit having strange feelings being in a cinema and not having people around, but rather 3 people on a cinema row. Of course, it was Sarra's movie as well, was in TIFF. I believe it was in plein air, presented in like open air cinema. And then in autumn, I was lucky enough to have to shoot with Radu Muntean. We all got tested, and we were in some kind of a remote area, so it was just us, the film crew, and we were moving quite freely, and we were not afraid of getting the disease because it was just among us, so we didn't have to interact with any other people, so it was a COVID-free shoot. And but in the same time, we got news from Bucharest and from other cities that were, there are like 9,000 at some point cases per day, and it was rather strange because it was like a bubble.
Can you tell us a little bit more about the film itself?
It's the story of a humanitarian mission gone a bit AWOL. They get stuck in a forest, and they actually have the opportunity to do the real good. And I think that's when things become a bit more complicated, because it's fun to go with a jeep on the mountains on roads that don't have asphalt or proper conditions, and it's kind of fun to go to speed on the hills and on the mountains and everything else. But when actually things go rough, people's limits get pushed, and it becomes more complicated. So it was pretty fun. It was very interesting. We had the opportunity to work with a lot of non-professional actors, and in rough conditions, because it was late autumn, the beginning of winter, really, really cold, night shoots. So it was very fun. I haven't shot
a lot of intense elements to it.
It was very.
And the film is now in post-production, and
I actually had the opportunity to see the movie already, so I think it's out of post-production, but I'm not sure exactly what's going to happen. I'm sure that people are still trying to grasp how do you premiere a movie in 2021.
Sure, it's definitely a huge challenge, and I mean, for feature films, all the more so. I'm curious how Sarra reflects on this. So your film Caimos has premiered in Romania, has won the Best Short Film Award in Transylvania International Film Festival. Congratulations for that. You were also awarded in Anonimul. I was wondering, actually, these were all online, or were you physically present, or how did it work, and how did you experience it?
Well, in my opinion, the way they transformed the festivals in this crazy year, it was very interesting, because as TIFF as well as Anonimul, both were physical festivals, and they had only outdoor screenings. And the amount of places that you wouldn't have normally visited or seen in these areas. For example, in TIFF, there were so many interior beautiful gardens, or and the way that you feel when you're outside watching the movie, especially your film, I don't know, for me it's very interesting. I like outdoor screenings very much.
Oh, so it's a positive experience, yeah.
Yes, because it was also warm outside, and it was nice to feel that you're safer, let's say, because outdoor is better when it comes to the pandemic situation. The only thing that I have to admit was a little bit annoying was the wearing of the mask all the time, even if you were outside and socially distanced, but I totally understand why that was necessary. And apart from that, the online screenings are an experience as well. I mean, you get to, I feel that when the festival is online, you are much more present and much more busy during the festival than you would be if you would be there physically. Because physically you would go to certain screenings, then you would visit, it would be sort of like a vacation, let's say.
Yeah.
But if it's online, you have to be, I mean, if you have this opportunity to be part of the cinema world in these times, then you have to grasp every opportunity, and then every day is totally busy. So you wake up and then you have workshops, then you have it's your screening, then you have a Q&A, and it's very, very different, but interesting in its own way. I had this talk with Paul, the producer of the short film, if we should wait or if we should start sending the film. And I think it's different for short films than it is for feature films. In the case of short films, I think, in my opinion, it wasn't a good idea to wait because you don't know what's going to happen. You're blocked by sitting on a project. For me, when I want to make a film, I want to feel that the last one was finished in a way. So we decided to send it and adapt, because I think it's important to adapt to the situation and the present.
But it is a question that also appears when you think about a feature film. And I've read and I know that you are working on your debut feature film. Can it be done actually? Is this a film that can be done in a partial lockdown or in pandemic limitations, or you need to wait?
No, I think it can be done. I think that the harder part will be the pre-production actually, because I really want casting to be physical. Like I want people to read with Ilinca, and I want to be sure that I'm casting the perfect actors for my film. So that is going to be a little hard, because I have to keep calling people and meet with a lot of people to see who is going to be the most appropriate for each part. But after everything is done, the shooting itself, I don't think it's going to be that difficult, because there aren't that many characters. The film takes place, part of it in Bucharest. And
can you tell us a little bit about it actually?
Sure. It's about a painter in her 30s who is in a complete rut from all the points of view. She feels like she is a mediocre painter. She feels that she will never find love again. Everything seems to be going horribly for her. So she takes a job painting the walls in a hotel in a remote area. And she falls in love with the owner there. And she has this story that fuels her to love her art.
Well, fingers crossed.
Thank you.
I read in an interview you gave recently that you feel happy and grateful that you can be a filmmaker, a woman filmmaker, in these times when you can actually do. I think the translation of that from Romanian would be real films.
Yes, I mean, I'm grateful because it's the best time that it's been until now. I mean, I hope it's going to be better, of course, but for the first time I feel that there's more female directors, women who direct films, and more are coming out, and I think that this is very important for Romanian cinema and for cinema in general. Because I hope that soon enough it's going to, this idea of male director, female director, male gaze, female gaze will dissolve, and it's just going to be perspective of a human being, you know.
And some women take, like in Maria's case, she's an actress, and she has turned into the direction of making your own films. You started that with Sigo, and I know that you have been writing together with Alex Baciu your debut feature.
Yes, we started writing before the lockdown, but then we finished. We had like the final script right at the beginning because it was the first CNC contest, local contest in
the National Center for Cinematography.
Yes, in Romania, and that we lost. And now we're preparing for the second one, and hopefully
you will win.
Yeah, hopefully we're gonna be more lucky.
I realized that we went a little bit too fast over Caimos, which is a short film. That...
Please, let's go back.
Yes, let's go back.
Dacă voia în slujbă, trebuia să ne spună. Ea știa că noi nu credem în Dumnezeu. Era Nita credincioasă.
Degeaba vorbesc eu, că nimeni nu mă ascultă. Ce vă costa dacă făceați și voi obiceiurile ca toți oamenii? Că dacă nu e adevărat, nu pierdeți nimic. Dar dacă e adevărat...
Dacă?
Doamne ferește.
Mai încet.
Ia uite. Dacă e adevărat și voi vă încăpățânați din principii din astea tâmpite.
Mama, gata, te rog frumos, gata. Oprește-te.
Sarra, I know that the film is partially based on a personal story. I'm interested to know more about it. If you could tell us how it developed and
the story for Caimos. It's about a 40-year-old woman who has left her native country when she was 19 for school, and her relationship to her family has gone colder and colder through the years. And she comes back to her native country after 20 years, and to attend her mother's cremation. And the film is about this feeling of not being a part of either country that you lived in, and trying to find your home without having a home, basically. And the story came to mind. It started developing when my grandmother passed away, and we decided to cremate her. And when we were in the crematorium, because our family is not religious and we didn't have a priest or all that, like all the words that are usually filling the silence when these type of event happen. It was only silence. So everybody was just sitting in a very intense and uncomfortable silence, like really feeling every second of her departure. So it was very intense for me. And when the body started going down, because they take it down on a sort of lift, on an elevator, that sound just resonated in me very, very strongly. And I don't know why, but I was watching my aunt, who has lived in Athens for 20-something years. She left at 19. She's the inspiration for Ellie's character. And I was watching her, and it was so interesting to me because her face just told me how she wasn't there, but she was there with all her heart in a way, because she was not in her own element, let's say, but at the same time, she was feeling the same loss that we were all feeling, even though she had not been there every day for the last, I don't know how many years.
So many years.
Yeah.
Future plans, ladies?
Well, on the good news, I'm waiting for my second job at some point in May. So that's going to be great news, but like on a different level.
Congratulations.
Well, I'm curious about how Radu's film is going to perform. And I'm curious to see if I'm going to have the opportunity to actually start the pre-production for our own film.
For me, it's only for the debut feature right now, and I'm also writing another short. So hopefully I will finish writing that short soon enough so that I can start to see how to go from there. But yeah, priority for sure is the debut feature that I really hope I'm going to be able to shoot next spring.
Thank you for being with us.
Thank you for inviting.
And we're going to the last but certainly not least important guest of our talk show. Hi, Anna.
Hi.
So nice to see you.
Nice to see you too, from my living room to your living room.
But nice to see you in your living room, where I've seen you more often, I have to say, because I've been following your Instagram concerts. And not only following, but very, very much enjoying.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah.
And it, of course, reminds me of the time we had you as a guest at Spotlight Romania. It was quite a number of years ago.
Yes.
I remember it was our second edition, and it was our film and music edition. And we had a lot of very diverse performances that year. And one that we cherish a lot was your piano performance.
What a memory, right? Yeah. To think now back into those some of my favorite performances, that was one of them. Yeah.
How have you been doing in this last year, Anna?
I found a lot of ideas and projects to do in this whole 2020, just because I needed something to look up on. I feel like I'm an optimist. I hope I'm an optimist, and therefore I started writing this piano method for beginners children from 5 to 7. Hopefully it will come out in June. And I also got very busy with, well, this is a bit of a surprise, but with finishing.
Share, please.
Well, finishing my first album, I'll say, on Romanian folklore, old authentic folklore songs. Together with Jonathan Nash. He's an electronic music composer, and we're trying to finish this album this year. So hopefully that will be the case. and so I feel I'm busy. I feel I made myself busy to accept maybe more the situation, but it's hard to stay. It's hard to stay inspired. I think this is a little substitute to perform online, and the positive side of it is my mom sees me every week performing, which this didn't happen in the last 10 years since I came to the Netherlands, and that's so special. I find that so special. Or some of my friends in Romania can also join the inside view, or friends here that I feel I miss so dearly, and you know, the human connection. And with this, it's just I find it's just how do you say, a little hay in the whole big pile of but it feels good.
You've had also, from what I've noticed, you've had also some really special happy event in your life.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Yeah, in this side, I'd say Corona period of 2020 was very positive to.
Does it mean you're planning a wedding already, or you're engaged and waiting for the pandemic to allow you to throw a party?
We are planning a wedding, but hopefully next year. If not next year, maybe another time. We'll see. We're not so bothered about the time. We are planning. I must say, we are planning. Yeah, and definitely in Romania, I think.
Very nice to hear, and thank you so much for accepting to join us today, and to bring to the whole talk show the closing moment, which is the music performance.
I am grateful to be part of people like you who try to still bring our culture vividly into our homes and lives. And thank you so much for doing such a great job with Spotlight Romania and keeping it alive and through this heavy times as well. So with that being said, I would love to continue enchanting you all with a wonderful piece that I have prepared. So let's do this. Încăpățânată, Stubborn by Sigismund Toduță, a Romanian composer.
Again. Join us again tomorrow for the second talk show of Spotlight Romania Film Festival. This time we're going to be in the company of cultural workers that write about art, promote literature, or organize festivals or even curatorial projects online. We're going to be live on Facebook, 9 p.m. Amsterdam time or 10 p.m. Bucharest time. Be there. See you.